Catholics are called to trust something greater, called by someone, Jesus Christ.
The body and blood of your most beloved Son.
His body given daily, his blood poured out. Through communion, they encounter his real presence and others who share the faith.
Remember that we are living times of disbelief. So this is an opportunity for us to reboost.
They become one and a light for others.
Everybody in the diocese is really showing up for Jesus.
That's the gospel call to make disciples of all nations.
Part of what we're doing is celebrating who we are as Catholics.
The time is now, the Eucharistic revival. Hi, I'm Christine Persichetti. It's been months in the making and years of spiritual preparation. The Diocese of Brooklyn's Eucharistic revival is almost here. We are counting down until thousands arrive Saturday morning at Louis Armstrong Stadium. But Currents News' Jessica Easthope has been in Flushing Meadows Corona Park almost every day this week, and she has a preview right now.
In just hours, close to 10,000 people will be converging on this iconic stadium behind me. Pilgrims will be coming from all corners of the Diocese of Brooklyn to unite in one place and in one belief, that Christ is present in the Eucharist. Many languages.
Multiple language, multiple music themes, all sorts of excitement.
Many cultures.
Multiculturality is the air that we breathe.
But one truth, the call to come and join a movement to restore devotion to the greatest mystery the world has ever known.
The bread, the Bible tells us, it is Christ.
On Saturday, the faithful of Brooklyn and Queens are invited to play their part in a Eucharistic revival. On the subway and on the streets, pilgrims will be making their way to Louis Armstrong Stadium for an unprecedented event.
It's a 70 by 200 lens on that.
The Blessed Sacrament takes center stage on the court and in the hearts of all who believe.
It really is all about the joy of the risen Christ.
Father Joseph Jabito, Diocese of Brooklyn's vicar for evangelization and catechesis, says upon arrival, pilgrims' senses will be stimulated with the sights and sounds of praise.
It's going to be utter chaos as they arrive. It will truly be Pentecost. Then they're going to come into the stadium, and it's going to be bright and bold and beautiful. It's going to be Easter.
People can expect a packed schedule of processions, mass, adoration, and witness talks, all representative of our faith and the diversity of the Diocese of Brooklyn. In Flushing Meadows, Corona Park, Jessica Easthope, Currents News.
You can still join in, and remember, it's rain or shine. Just contact your local parish to get free tickets. You can also email pilgrimage@diobrook.org or call 718-965-7313. You can also watch the Mass with Bishop Brennan live right here on Net TV. Just tune in at 9:45 in the morning on Saturday. And don't worry if you missed all that. We are going to give you all of that information again. So there are thousands expected on Saturday, but let's take a closer look at the numbers that are making this day a true connection with Christ. Now, these are just projections. There could be much more. There will be 65 priests from around Brooklyn and Queens at the event, as well as 20 deacons and 15 seminarians. There will also be 60 neophytes. Those are people who were baptized at the Easter Vigil. For some of those attending, the journey to the stadium will actually be a pilgrimage. The Diocese of Brooklyn is organizing 2 of them, one on foot and one by train, that will have the faithful walking with Christ to Louis Armstrong Stadium. Currents News' Jessica Easthope has that story.
How are we going to revive our love for Jesus?
Joy Uy is preparing her heart and her walking shoes to experience Christ like never before.
I actually dreamt to have something like this as a diocese before, and I just realized it's about to happen without me doing anything about it, right? But just by the providence of God.
She's going to be joining more than 2,000 others on the streets of Queens as they walk to the Diocese of Brooklyn's Eucharistic revival on April 20th.
What is the Eucharist, guys?
Joy will be on the pilgrimage with Our Lady of Sorrows, where she's a social studies and religion teacher. In class, she's leading her students toward a deeper relationship with Christ.
I show them videos about Eucharistic miracles and just always constantly remind them that it's really the presence of God.
St. Leo's and St. Michael's will also be walking, meeting up with Our Lady of Sorrows along the way.
We'll be walking this way on 37th Avenue, all the way down.
Pastor Father Manuel de Jesus Rodriguez says this is a chance for renewal.
And in this time of Easter, it's kind of a motivation to continue living out the values of our Catholic faith, especially centered in the Eucharist, as that's the core of our spiritual life.
The National Eucharistic Revival, launched by the U.S. Conference of Catholic Bishops, is a response to a 2019 Pew Research poll that showed only 31% of American Catholics believe in the real presence of Jesus in the Eucharist.
Remember that we are living times of disbelief. Even mass attending people struggle about accepting the real presence of Jesus in the Eucharist. So this is an opportunity for us to reboost this essential dimension of our faith.
On April 20th, these pilgrims won't be able to hide how they feel about their faith.
We are here showing up for Jesus, not afraid and not ashamed of our faith, of who we are.
And that is the goal. In Corona, Jessica Easthope, Currents News.
And of course, the Bishop of Brooklyn, Robert Brennan, will be leading those pilgrims. Ahead of the Eucharistic Revival, he was here on Currents News talking about why making a journey is better than just driving to the event.
There's something about the journey itself. Basically, life is itself a pilgrimage. We're walking together with one another and encouraging one another. So that's not the only pilgrimage. I'll be leading on the subway, but there's a pilgrimage coming from Corona, Queens, and another one from Flushing, and we're going to meet together at the park. The other thing is, part of what we're doing is celebrating who we are as Brooklyn and Queens, and then we're celebrating all together who we are as Catholics. So the subway, the 7-line subway is so iconic of Queens. Absolutely. Flushing Meadow Park is so iconic of Queens. It just says so much about regular everyday life. And one of the things we want to do is connect what we do in church with real life.
For everybody else to see, of course.
Then there's the witness value. You got it.
Absolutely. So if there's somebody at home right now watching us saying, I don't know if I want to go, why should they go? Why should they attend the revival?
One of the key things about Eucharistic Revival is that we're not in it alone. That every time we go to Mass, we're connected with the people who are there at the church, we're connected with the communion of saints, we're connected with the angels, all together at God's banquet. But there are special moments when we really highlight that sense of being together. Being together with 10,000 people to celebrate Mass, but also to renew our appreciation for the presence of Christ in the Eucharist. There'll be different talks and music and different expressions of prayer that really, I think, can lift us up, remind us of what we really believe and how that is so important in our lives.
All right, not that we want to have anybody waiting for the last minute, but if somebody doesn't decide until Saturday morning that they want to go, can they do that? Can they go Saturday morning?
There are possibilities because we've reserved some tickets and we'll have we'll have our team members there. I have to confess, we learned a lot during this, and so the whole Ticketmaster problem was, the whole Ticketmaster process was complicated, but we will have team members there who will help people to be able to get a ticket and then to enter, and there is no cost to the event.
That was Brooklyn's Bishop Robert Brennan. However you get to Louis Armstrong Stadium on Saturday, when you're there, be sure to look for the tablet. Employees will be handing out a special version of the paper dedicated to the last 2 years of prep for the Eucharistic Revival, both locally and nationwide. Don't miss out. It is a chance to have history in your hands. While Bishop Brennan will be leading pilgrims on the subway and in prayer, a special choir will be leading the faithful in song. The singers are all volunteers representing the diversity of the diocese. Currency's Katie Vasquez was at their recent rehearsal and gave us a sneak peek.
United in song and faith, this ensemble includes parishioners from across Brooklyn and Queens, representing the many cultures of the Diocese of Immigrants. They will be be performing for upwards of 10,000 faithful at the Diocese of Brooklyn's Eucharistic Revival on April 20th. The choir, all volunteers, who responded to an online call for singers strongly connected to their faith.
I'm blessed to still always be singing in a choir. That's like my hobby. It's nothing I just can't do. It don't feel right if I'm not in the Mass.
The ensemble director, Joseph Murray, says Brooklyn Bishop Robert Brennan requested that the group represent the cultural diversity of a diocese where masses are celebrated in 26 different languages.
We represent multiple countries, we represent multiple languages. We have the ability to celebrate liturgy in ways that a lot of other dioceses in the country do not.
Sing in a language like Mandarin, Polish, or Creole was the motivation for Shrine Church of St. Gerard Majella cantor Elizabeth Simpson.
I have sung in just about every language that there is, so that is not something that would stop me from wanting to participate in this. It actually makes me want to do this.
Ensuring that no one in the stands feels left out.
So I think to express our faith in our language is something very awesome. It gives us the freedom really to fit in, because some people sometimes they don't fit in because of the language and the culture, so I think it's cool.
The group will continue practicing up until the revival event. In Windsor Terrace, Katie Vasquez, Currents News.
Stay right there. There's a lot more Eucharistic revival coverage heading your way. How thousands of Catholics will be walking with Christ to Saturday's event. Plus, with so many cultures attending, the Diocese of Brooklyn is ensuring everyone will be able to pray together no matter what language they speak. All that diversity will also be showcased in several musical acts. We explain it all when we return. But before we go, another look at the spiritual preparation that pilgrims had for this Eucharistic revival. All hands are on deck, and even the smallest ones are helping to make the Eucharistic revival a success. This group of young people packed 6,000 swag bags to be handed out on Saturday. Some of the favors include a Magnificat, a prayer card, and a pin. For the hundreds joining the subway pilgrimage to the Eucharistic revival, coordination is key. Members of DeSales Media Group's external affairs team are making it all happen safely. Current News' Jessica Easthope joins us now to explain. Hi, Jess.
Hi, Christine. The team's preparation has been months in the works. Remember, they're responsible for 2 pilgrimages, but really several groups that are going to be walking and riding the subway. They're keeping it all on track as they bring people toward this encounter with Christ. They're driving every street and walking every set of subway stairs, all to make sure 10,000 people arrive safely to the Diocese of Brooklyn's Eucharistic revival.
We put together a map, we gave it to the pastors. Even though it's been approved by the NYPD, we have to see it for ourselves. Matthew
McKeon-Slattery is the Deputy Director of External Affairs for DeSales Media Group, the communications and technology arm of the Diocese of Brooklyn that operates Net TV. He's part of a team coordinating every step of the journey to a once-in-a-lifetime faith experience.
If everything goes the way that we want it to, they won't even know that we were there or had anything to do with it at all. It's to make sure everything goes smoothly on the day of the actual event.
DeSales' external affairs team, along with the NYPD and MTA, are responsible for the logistics of thousands of people on 2 different pilgrimages. Pilgrims from Our Lady of Sorrows and St. Leo's parishes in Corona and St. Michael's Church in Flushing will be walking to Louis Armstrong Stadium. Meanwhile, thousands of others will be taking the 7 train. Bishop Robert Brennan will be riding the rails too, getting on at Court Square and ending at City Field, the stop for the stadium. Parishioners are encouraged to get on at any of these 5 stops to join him.
Any of the parishioners, congregations who are wanting to do it this way will know where to go, will know where to stand, and they'll make sure they get on the same 7 train as Bishop Brennan.
You can see how super busy this area is.
Will Vega, DeSales Media's police liaison, says keeping the crowd together and separate from the public is essential for a safe and accessible pilgrimage.
Every place has a police precinct, which has a community affairs office, and this is who we coordinate with, just to get a feel of what the neighborhood is, who the people are, so we know what their needs are and how to move forward to help.
Right now, I'm on the pedestrian bridge that leads from the 7 train right to Louis Armstrong Stadium. This is the last leg of the pilgrimage to the Eucharistic revival for both people walking from their churches and those taking the subway with Bishop Brennan. The walk should only be about 10 minutes. Though there are a lot of moving parts, there's only one goal: to bring the faithful together to encounter Christ.
It has been truly an honor just to even serve as a Catholic myself. The church and its capacity on how it helps different communities and people is something that, I hold dear to my heart.
The pilgrims walking and Bishop Brennan will all be leaving around 7 a.m. If you want to be on that train with Bishop Brennan, there will be plenty of staff to guide you on where to go. All you have to do is be on time. Christine?
Thanks, Jess. And as we've mentioned, the diversity of the Diocese of Immigrants will be well represented on Saturday. With so many different cultures and different languages, revival organizers are now working to break down any language barriers. The app, Interprify, will be available to all. It will have live interpreters from around the globe listening in and translating 5 different languages in real time. The director of marketing at NetTV's parent company, DeSales Media, Len Camporial, says they expect about 1/3 of the 10,000 faithful in attendance to use it.
So we wanted to be able to have everybody come to the stadium and hear the reflections and prayers in their own native language and the language they're used to worshiping in.
All pilgrims will have to do is download the app Interprify. There will be a code for you to scan at the event where you can then select your language. Sounds easy enough. And it's also easy for you to go to the Eucharistic Revival. Just contact your local parish to get free tickets. You can also email pilgrimage@diobrook.org or call 718-965-7313. And of course, you can watch the Mass with Bishop Brennan at the Eucharistic Revival live right here on Net TV. Just tune in at 9:45 in the morning. The first Eucharistic miracle on record dates back more than 1,000 years, but people credit adoration with helping them through their own troubles each and every day. There's an adoration chapel in Corpus Christi Church in Woodside, Queens. 2 parishioners, Victoria Chaco and Anna Morales, pray there often. They say Eucharistic adoration changed their lives. Anna believes God heard her prayers when her daughter and niece were sick, and Victoria says prayers helped save her marriage.
My husband was an alcoholic during our whole marriage. We started living separately for a couple of years, but I came because I wanted to put my marriage in Christ's hands.
I feel like he's my friend because he listened to me and never leave alone God.
Both Anna and Victoria say all those who doubt Christ's real presence in the Eucharist should come and see for themselves. The chapel is open 24/7. Soon, believers from around the country will take part in a nationwide Eucharistic pilgrimage. 4 groups from all 4 corners of the nation will walk thousands of miles while carrying Christ in the Eucharist. They'll stop at holy sites and churches along the way, which you are welcome to join. The pilgrims will converge on Indianapolis on July 17th for the National Eucharistic Congress. You can learn more about that Congress and pilgrimage by going online to eucharisticrevival.org. And of course, stick with Currents News and the tablet for comprehensive coverage for the nationwide pilgrimage. Still to come on this Currents News special, see a sneak peek of one of the musical groups performing at the Eucharistic Revival. This drumline is powered by faith. And it's not too late how you can save your seat in the stadium. But before we go, another look at the spiritual preparations for the Eucharistic Revival. The These beats are for the body of Christ, each percussionist preparing to leave an impression on the thousands attending the Diocese of Brooklyn's Eucharistic Revival. We've shown you how to get there, the stadium serving as the stage, and how you can take part in this Eucharistic revival, no matter what language the prayers are spoken. Now we want to show you just one of the many musical groups that will help you deepen your faith. There will be several performances at the Eucharistic revival representing the diversity of the Diocese of Immigrants. Current News' Jessica Easthope introduces us to one that marches to a different beat.
Quiet mornings are rare in Flushing, Queens. But even more so now, as the Diocese of Brooklyn's Eucharistic revival is just days away. The St. Michael's Church Drum Corps,
ready, go,
is practicing tirelessly.
We are nervous, but we are excited also. We just do the best.
Their steps are delicate, but their beat is powerful. Christy Lynn leads the all-women team, and behind her march the faces of this community, young and old.
We think God like that, more noise, more happy for us.
These women drum with a confidence that can't be taught. It comes from Christ. Because deep down they're nervous to showcase their chops at a stadium performance in front of 10,000 people. They only started playing 2 years ago. But experience is outpaced by raw talent and deep faith. While Christy sets the tempo up front, Susan Pan is in the back, a spot reserved for the strongest drummers.
Just like the Bible says, the elephant, some hers in the middle with protection or group. I need to put protection the team.
The drum corps makes noise for God. St. Michael's pastor, Father Vincentius Doe, is excited to hear it ring through the streets as they process to the Eucharistic revival on April 20th.
We will wake the whole neighborhood up that morning with our drums, and we will walk there joyfully to give glory to God.
The women are shattering stereotypes with every hit of their drumsticks, and their pounding is prayer.
I'm so happy we can do something because of God.
Very empowering for them. It's not just performing, it's really praying.
Culture keeps them steady, and faith guides their hands. But it's the Eucharist,
The bread, the Bible tells us, it is Christ,
that drives them forward. In Flushing, Jessica Easthope, Currents News.
And one final time, if you want to attend the Diocese of Brooklyn's Eucharistic Revival, you can go absolutely free. Just contact your local parish for tickets. You can also email pilgrimage@diobrook.org or call 718-965-7313. Finally, you can also watch the Mass with Bishop Brennan live right here on Net TV. Just tune in at 9:45 in the morning on Saturday. Plus, be sure to tune in online to the tablet and Currents News for in-depth coverage of the event. And again, if you are attending the Eucharistic Revival in person, be sure to look for the tablet for that special version of the paper you won't get anywhere else. It has everything you need to know and more about the diocesan event and the nationwide campaign. And that is this Currents News special edition. I'm Christine Persichetti. Thank you for joining us because we are putting your faith in the news. Before we go, one final look at how the Eucharistic Revival went from a concept to reality in the Diocese of Brooklyn.